The World Bank and the IMF have been widely criticized in a whole range of issues, but they are generally centered around a concern about the approaches they adopt when formulating their policies and the way they are governed. This includes the social and economic impact these policies have on the population of countries who avail themselves of financial assistance from these two institutions, and accountability for these impacts. The World Bank and the IMF often attach loan conditionalities based on what is termed the Washington Consensus, focusing on liberalization of trade, investment and the financial sector, deregulation and privatization of nationalized industries. Often the conditionalities are attached without due regard for the borrower country's individual circumstances, and the prescriptive recommendations by the World Bank and the IMF fail to resolve the economic problems within the countries. There are also criticisms against the World Bank and IMF governance structures. Decisions are made and policies implemented by leading industrialized countries, because they represent the largest donors without much consultation with poor and developing countries.
When it comes to the World Bank, there are concerns about the types of development projects they fund. Many infrastructure projects financed by the World Bank Group have social and environmental implications for the populations in affected areas, and criticism has centered on ethical issues of funding such projects. For example, World Bank has funded the construction of hydroelectric dams in various countries, has resulted in the displacement of indigenous people of the area. A lot of controversy in the financing of the World Bank's program for global climate change. Civil society groups see the banks as unfit for a role in climate finance because of the conditionalities and advisory services usually attached to its loans. The bank's undemocratic governance structure is privileging of the private sector, and the controversy over the performance of the World Bank House climate investment funds have also been subject to criticism in debates around the issue. Moreover, the bank's role as a central player in climate change mitigation and adaptation efforts is in direct conflict with its carbon-intensive lending portfolio and continuing financing support for heavily polluted industries, which include coal power. Concerns also with the World Bank funding. They work in partnership with the private sector, which may undermine the role of the states as the primary provider of essential goods and services, such as healthcare and education, resulting in the shortfall of such services in countries badly in need of them. As an increasing shift from the public to private funding in development finance has been observed recently, the bank's private sector lending arm has also been criticized for its business model, the increasing use of financial intermediaries such as private equity funds and funding of companies associated with tax havens.